Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And Paul, it's a cool Tuesday morning.
Yes, yeah, bring my jacket.
Yes, yes. I smell the balls.
I tell you, it was hot throughout last week and some of the days in the weeks before. And it's just, the weather just changed yesterday. And the thing is, our meteorologists over there at the National Weather Service, they predicted this. They forecasted this. They told us there'll be sun, there'll be an eclipse, and then after that, we're going to get cold front.
Yeah.
And the thing is that immediately after the eclipse, people started to ask, all right, where is the cold front?
Yeah.
And we got it. I think it came on time. And yesterday morning was kind of the start of that. We began to feel that cool breeze. And it lasted throughout the day and into last night. And man, I slept like a baby because unlike others, I don't have an AC in my room, I'll confess. I don't have one as yet.
Yeah.
They've been asking, please get an AC.
You can get it, Paul.
Well, last night was kind of a relief.
Yeah.
That cool weather, and I'm just so grateful and thankful for that.
Yeah, I mean, I felt the cool later last night. I feel like was the first time I could really tell the difference. Throughout the day, it still felt a little bit warm to me. Obviously not as nearly as warm as last week. And I even made a post last night saying that this cool front need free on me, brother.
That's true, though.
Like it wasn't as cool as I would hope for it to be. But it was definitely cool last night. If you have air conditions, you would not have needed it because it was certainly cooler. I only needed to run my fan, and that was Christmas. You know, after the temperatures last night, I started hearing the jingle bells, you know. But I won't spend too much time on that because we can't forget the drums of our fathers.
I'm sorry, you're late. You're late to the party, Sabrina, because the Christmas tree in my house is already up.
Oh my gosh.
The lights are already blinking.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And so when the cold front came in,
it's perfect.
It felt like, all right, yeah.
Now we can watch the first Christmas movie, Home Alone.
Yeah. So
no, but it's beautiful weather, and we're hoping that it continues. It's definitely welcomed after an extended heat wave. We experienced temperatures as high as 103 officially, that is, but it certainly felt much more than that. So seeing that we're getting cooler temperatures just in time for the closing of the year, I think everyone is appreciating it.
Definitely.
But Paul, while we're also looking to the temperatures and whatnot, we were also really busy online yesterday talking about something that I think we've never covered before, and that's actual aircraft being stolen here in Belize.
Yeah, so an aircraft being hijacked yesterday in Placencia. The residents in the area near the airstrip woke up last night, in the morning, that was Monday morning, to a loud bang. So they literally woke up with a bang. And this was in the wee hours of the morning dawn. And so what we saw was that residents came out after they heard the bang. They saw this huge blaze of fire just along the road and along the highway, the Placencia, Hopkins, Placencia, St. Bites highway.
Wow.
And upon inspection, several residents spoke of hearing a flight take off from the airstrip, and moments later hearing this loud bang, and looking outside and saw this huge ball of inferno fire along the highway. And many immediately knew that it was an aircraft. That very same aircraft that took off, that crash landed near the mangroves, crash landed into an electric post, took out one of the transformers, and caused residents in the area to be in darkness for some time until BL could have gone in and spent some hours restoring the power. So that was the experience of the neighborhood. In terms of what happened at the airstrip and what led to this crash, well, the experience of the security guard at the airstrip is another topic of conversation, because reports are that four individuals entered the premises at the airstrip, accosted the security guard, tied him up, and two of these individuals, as we were made to understand, proceeded to steal one of those Maya Island aircraft that would have been parked. And if you know these flights, these planes, they're very small, economic planes that we travel from one location to another in Belize, and then at times, I believe they go across the border. So this is what happened to the security guard in the early hours of Monday morning. He was accosted, he was tied up, and these individuals proceeded to steal this aircraft. They got in the aircraft under some very bad weather conditions. This is when the cold front was coming in, so you have rain, you have darkness, some cloudiness as well, some cloudy spells, and they did not get too far after taking off in this aircraft. They, according to reports, got about only a short distance, and they sought to turn back. And it is when they were turning back to land at the airstrip, that's when the plane clipped the electricity pole.
So they actually took off.
So they took off. Reports suggest they took off and they sought to turn back.
Wow.
That is when they landed, crash landed, of course. According to police, 2 bodies were discovered among the burnt remains of the aircraft. Reports are suggesting that it's about the bodies of 2 foreigners, one being an Argentinian and Venezuelan, if I'm not mistaken. Nonetheless, these are individuals from South America. There isn't a clear understanding yet as to the reason why these men decided to target this airstrip and steal this aircraft. There's many speculations as to whether or not they were attempting to flee the pursuit of officers or authorities. There's speculations as to whether an illicit aircraft landed at a certain location and they were trying to then get out of Belize by way of stealing this aircraft. There's multiple speculations. There's speculations as to whether or not that they were stealing the aircraft to use to perhaps in the drug trade, right?
Yeah, for narco trafficking.
For narco trafficking. Police haven't confirmed yet what it is, the motive was behind this this incident. They are saying though that they're looking at every single angle at this point in time. But you're right to say that this is something we've never covered before. I mean, when you hear of this, I think it caused shockwaves across the country. Many Belizeans saying, well, this is a first. Well, what's happening in Belize? Questioning, wow, we've never seen anything occur like this. Belize gone to the dogs, etc., etc. Because when we report often on planes the charred remains of airplanes. It's usually a plane that comes in through narco trafficking illicitly, lands in Belize, it's either set on fire, it either crash lands, and then we cover the report. But we've never heard of a case where a plane, a domestic plane, crash lands and it's stolen.
Yeah.
So this is definitely something we're going to keep following. Yesterday, our reporter Dwayne Moody was on the ground in Placencia. He gave us an extensive report of preliminary information based on investigation and observation. There on the screen, we're showing the charred remains. So that's what's left of the aircraft. As we can see, there was this huge truck that was called in to pull out the remains. And that's basically just a ball.
Yeah,
a
really,
ball of metal and steel that have basically melted together because of the heat. There was one video that you could hear someone calling for help, in fact, and that was early in the morning when the plane had just crashed and had just caught fire, and residents were in the area video recording the incident. In the background, there was someone calling for help, saying help. But of course, if you're a resident and you see all this fire, there isn't really much you could do to provide any assistance. So,
thankfully, I mean, for me, what I'm thinking is, thankfully, this airplane did not crash close to any homes. I can't imagine what that would have been like for the community. Obviously, this is still terrible news for them to be witnessing. But I also think about Maya Island Air and how they've been in the news for the past few weeks. Just a couple weeks ago, we were talking about what was suggested to be a bomb threat that they experienced, then turned to be simply a firecracker. And now we're looking at a plane being stolen from the company itself. So they've been having a pretty bad couple months, and I'm hoping that something like this does not occur again. But as you mentioned, Paul, the Belize Police Department did mention that they will be further carrying out this investigation to gather whatever information they possibly can. I do know that they mentioned that the security guard is cooperating and is providing all the possible information that he can. I did see in one of the reports that residents said that they heard gunshots. However, we simply only learned that the security officer was bound, which is, we're thankful for that, because oftentimes it's really unpredictable what could take place in these types of illegal crimes. So I'm really happy to learn that the security guard was safe and was not harmed. However, we will be hopefully getting further information from him.
I mean, these thieves, these robbers, they were brazen to even target an airstrip and an domestic airline to steal a plane. I mean, who does that? And perhaps it points to the stronghold that this cross-border narcotics trade may have on Belize, the foothold they may have in Belize at this point in time. It may be way more serious than anyone is talking about, or way more serious and way more deep than we can see at this point in terms of how much hold that illegal trade has on Belize. I mean, where did these men come from?
Yeah, I saw a report from another media house where it was suggested that these men had some form of assistance by boat to get here to even have access to the plane. So that even brings up an entirely different conversation that I'm not sure we're ready to have.
Right. So it's because it's a frightening conversation. And we've been hearing about these types of things, especially in the South, where there's suggestions that there's involvement with communities down that side, where there's suggestions that there's some sort of correlation or some sort of, how you say it, some sort of collusion, between residents in certain communities down south and neighboring communities as well. And this brings it full circle. This brings it center stage when you see something like this happen. And so there's many questions, and I think for these domestic airlines, they'll definitely increase their guard and increase their security, because if something like this could happen, and then you think about the loss, the financial loss for the company as well, I mean, there's no telling what could take place next. And so this, in my mind, is just a sign. It's just a sign. It's really just a pimple rearing its head of a much deeper and a much wider issue here in Belize that I'm not sure our security forces are yet fully equipped to battle or to respond to. And so this is definitely a story we'll continue to follow throughout the course of today and this week.
Yeah. One last topic, Paul, I wanted to bring up. It has not been in the news for some time now, but it's definitely a conversation that folks are having on social media, and that has to do with the bus runs taking place. There was this young person on Facebook that was complaining about the buses in Ladyville, the early bus that is, I believe it's 5 o'clock bus, and expressing that whenever she tries to get on the bus, it's completely jammed packed, and she's paying the full price to stand in the line, in the aisle that is, and basically get her uniform all wrinkled up and her toes stomped on and all of that. And you can't ever get a seat. The bus is jam-packed, and she just wants to know, what is the situation? Why is it that we are not getting additional buses for these commuters? And why is it allowed for persons to still be standing in the aisle?
I don't think there is enough well, first of all, I don't think there's enough attention being paid to this issue. If you recall my experience when I went on a bus one morning.
You probably need to do another one, Paul.
And I did a road trip per se, and I videoed my experience on the bus from Belize City to Belmopan. I had a similar experience, standees, and this is months ago, and this continues to happen, and this has been happening for years past. And I don't know that there's enough that is being done. I think some very important questions are being asked here. Why isn't there more buses on the road? Why is it that standees are still being allowed? And there's laws against having standees on buses. I don't know if our authorities turned a blind eye, if these bus drivers have become so emboldened that they think, oh, well, I could just cross a checkpoint with standees and nothing will happen. I won't be penalized.
No, I think what they do, Paul, is whenever you're reaching close to a checkpoint, they oftentimes ask for the commuters in the bus to make space. Work with them and have the standees sit close to them. And the minute you pass the checkpoint, you stand up again.
The thing is, Sabrina, everybody wants to get to where they want to get.
And that's what they say. Everyone want to get to work. Everyone want to get home.
And if I'm to reach Belize City from Ladyville for 7 o'clock, and there's this early morning bus that passes at 6:15, I'm almost guaranteed I will get to Belize City at 7. But if that bus is full and that passes me by, and then the 6:31 comes and that passes me by because I don't want to stand, then guess what? I'll reach to my destination late. So I have no choice. And guess what? I'll take it. I'll stand because I want to get to where I want to get, and then the bus will allow me to stand. So that's one issue, definitely. There's a need for more buses on the road. And then the condition of the buses, that's a whole nother conversation to be had. As I understood it, the Ministry of Transport gave bus operators until December this year. We've been having this conversation for like 2 years now, until December this year, to get their acts together in terms of upgrading their buses. So we'll see what will upgrade look like by December. Will we have any sort of upgrade or any sort of changes? Will there be more traffic officers on the road to monitor that they are keeping these regulations. So Ms. Gill, you're right. We hear you. I'm sure that others are listening and have similar experiences as well.
All right. Well, Paul, that about wraps up our What's Buzzing segment. We're going to move into the weather report this morning. And as we've been talking about it, it's nice and cool temperatures here in Belize City. And I imagine all over the country, that's what the temperatures are looking like. I know we had some beautiful lows last night. We enjoyed the Christmas weather early in October. So we're hoping for continued temperatures just like yesterday and this morning. So we will be getting a weather update from the National Meteorological Service momentarily, and we're going to find out if this is something that we can expect for the extended week. Good morning, forecaster Catherine.
Sorry, this is Francisca.
Hi, good morning, Ms. Francisca. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
All righty. Well, what can we expect as it relates to the general situation this morning?
Okay, guys, so we're saying it's going to be fair, cool, and mostly dry today over the next 24 hours. So we are seeing variably cloudy skies today and tonight. Cool, as I mentioned before, with little or no rain.
We are certainly enjoying this cold front. Is this something that we can expect throughout the extended week?
No, we will see some changes by Wednesday night.
Oh, man. Is it scheduled to get warmer?
A gradual warming, but we'll be seeing an increase in shower activity Wednesday night and Thursday.
Alrighty. Well, what kind of temperatures can we expect today?
Okay. Along the coast this afternoon, 84. Inland, 87. And the Maya Mountains, 72. And overnight temperatures, 76 along the coast, 72 inland, 66 up in the Maya Mountains.
And the marine conditions, what is that looking like?
Okay, winds will be out of the north and northwest, 10 to 20 knots, and that will produce moderate seas.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, forecaster. We certainly appreciate the information as always, and you try to enjoy the cool temperatures as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Same to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.
Darn it.
Well, you know, she said into Wednesday night.
Yeah.
You still have Tuesday and you still have Wednesday.
You still have time to bring out your scarf today if you have not left home, and try to make much of it, Paul.
This is the warm-up for the marathon
Yeah.
that we hopefully will get in December.
Oh, let's hope. Let's cross our fingers, guys. Cross your fingers and cross your toes. But I'm certainly enjoying the weather this Tuesday, and I'm hoping that it at least continues a little bit more tomorrow as well. But we are going to move into our show lineup, and we have 3 great conversations. Starting things off, we'll be talking about the 4-day conference, Belize Social Protection Summit 2023, under the theme Protection for All.
And in our second conversation, it's all about preventing childhood obesity in the Caribbean, and we'll be joined via Zoom by some representatives from the region to talk with us about this very important topic.
And in our last conversation for the morning, it's all about Belize, who will be talking to us about the activities they have planned for Insurance Awareness Month and why it is important.
Yeah, 3 very important
Yes,
conversations.
I am certainly looking forward to each and every one of them. But we're going to take our first break for the morning, and when we come back, it's all about the Belize Social Protection Summit 2023. Don't go away.
Get ready, babe. We're going on a vacation.
Finally, where are we going?
Don't worry, babe. I have we covered.
Are you sure you know where we're going?
Yes, babe. Oh, right there, see? Babe, the price me too good to be true. Me look much more better in that picture.
When life throws you a curveball, Belize Bank has your back. With our online financing, you can turn any vacation mishap into a dream getaway.
cheers to Belize Bank for making our dream vacation a reality.
Thanks to you, be able to turn things around.
No thanks to you, cheapo.
Out.
Experience the future of financing with Belize Bank online, where you can secure funds for anything, from anywhere, at any time, all without stepping foot in a bank. Apply for a loan today and unlock a world of possibilities.
Do you own a car or motorcycle and need an extra income but don't have the time to commit to a second job? Midriver is your solution, as you can work anytime and anywhere. Download the Midriver driver app from Play Store or App Store, the Black app, and fill out the application or WhatsApp pictures to 615-5678 or 615-2250. Provide Midriver with pictures of your driver's license, social security or passport, insurance sticker, license sticker, title, profile picture of you, police record or the receipt, front of vehicle, rear of vehicle, left side exterior, right side exterior, picture of passenger seat interior, picture of rear seat interior, vaccination card, and email address. The list might look long, but you have all of these already. Just the police left for you to get. When your registration is complete and approved, all you have to do, turn up online. When a job comes in, swipe right. Tap Arriving. This allows the customer to track your GPS progress. Tap Navigate. Google Maps will open to give you directions. Press Arrive. Customer gets notified that you are outside. When customer enters car, swipe right to start ride. Midriver app charges by time and distance. That guarantees you to earn an income. When you reach destination and end the ride, the app will tell you and the customer the total cost of the ride. Midriver only takes 15%, so 85% of the income is all yours. Don't forget to get that police record receipt, and you can be on your way to making extra money with the help of Midriver.
The X-ray unit can be thought about as a branch of the accident and emergency department. So we see a lot of the accident cases that come through to check bones and other soft tissues. We also do a lot of chronic checks as related to chest X-rays and any other defects that might be able to be seen on an X-ray. Here is the closest X-ray service in the area. The next closest one would be the two hospitals in PG and one in Stan Creek.
Our regular workday for us would be tending to our what we call as outpatients, patients we see daily that are referred to doctors. We collect their samples, and then afterwards we do the processing. We do basic processing here, chemistries, urinalysis, hematology, stool samples as well. So, and we also cater for emergency samples as well.
We basically analyze blood samples. We know on a daily basis that doctors read blood samples and use it to analyze how the patient is doing on a day-to-day basis.
Who's my last little bit of paint?
Paint? How can that be a problem? We got you.
You have the exact color?
Definitely.
Attention DIY enthusiasts and professional builders. It's Builders Hardware's Mega Sale, starting October 16th and running through to December 30th. During our Mega Sale, you can enjoy up to 30% off items in our store. Looking to freshen up your home? Then enjoy 20% off on all paints, wood stains, and accessories. But that's not all. You get a whopping 25% discount on all other items in our store and a massive 30% off selected items. At Builders Hardware, we believe our customers are awesome. And that's why we're committed to providing top-notch service and the highest quality products. So whether you're a seasoned pro or a DIY beginner, we are waiting for you. Builders Hardware Mega Sale from October 16th until the end of the year.
Welcome back. We are having our first conversation for the morning, and it's all about the Belize Social Protection Summit 2023. We have with us representatives to talk about the summit, and we have Dylan Williams, and he is the director of the Ministry of Human Development. Good morning.
Morning.
We also have with us Gabrielle Hulse, and she is an economist also from the Ministry of Economic Development. We have with us Tomo Okubo, who is a social protection specialist with UNICEF, as well as Leticia Vega, and she is the general manager of the Policy Research and Actuarial Services. Good morning, guys, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. So we are here to talk about the summit, the Belize Social Protection Summit. Let's start with what can we expect from this summit?
All right, so I guess I do get the first question.
Yeah, you get the first.
So basically what we're doing here in terms of the summit, the Social Protection Summit, partnering for the protection of all in Belize through the development of the National Social Protection Strategy. Basically, the intent is that, as the government has committed to through the medium-term development strategy, is the finalization of a social protection strategy. And so basically, as the technical persons from the respective ministries in partnership with the various UN agencies, as we call them, PUNOs, as a part of the SDG joint program. Of course, we'll share that a bit. But basically, we're working together to finalize that, this summit being a part of that process. In April, we started with the Social Protection Floor Conference, and that basically provided us with options for the social protection floor. Now we're moving towards the overall social protection strategy. The summit really is that modality that helps us to do so. Yeah. We're doing that from today. Actually, we started some other elements as of yesterday and last week. But we're starting today, the 17th, through to Friday. Today is what we're considering the high-level discussion element, and we're doing two specific sessions. The first session focuses on defining social protection, and then the other summit looks at financing it. Of course, the financing side of it is definitely important, and so that is what we look at today in terms of engaging the various ministries. So we have the Ministry of Human Development, the Ministry of Rural Transformation, Community Development, Labor, Local Government. I hope I got that correct. We also have the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Youth. Just as a part of that first discussion, the second discussion really looks at the financing side. As I said, we bring in our partners such as the SSB, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Economic Development, the Office of the Prime Minister. And of course, today we also benefit from country presentations in terms of other countries sharing their experience in developing their social protection strategy. Really helps us to kind of get a good sense of what were the nuances in terms of the legal frameworks, the policy frameworks, various strategies that they also employed. And so the idea is that building that or laying that foundation today helps us towards the other days. Now, tomorrow we focus on the pillars of social protection, and so we really look at social assistance, social services, labor markets, and social insurance. And the idea then is that once we finalize what would also be options and discussions within those pillars, we move towards also the cross-cutting issues. Cross-cutting issues focusing on disability, responsive social protection, gender-responsive social protection, the MIS in terms of what are those management information system platforms that help us to be more efficient in terms of delivering social assistance, for example, to families. We have data, and I don't want to say everything, so I'll have the others give some inputs there.
I just want to...
And then the last day, we really wrap up in terms of the validation conference.
Excellent. So we'll be touching on the days a little bit later in the conversation. But I want to follow up my question with what was the driving point or the drivers to having a social protection initiative like this?
So when we really look at where we are in terms of the overall levels of poverty, and we also understand that social protection, yes, it focuses on vulnerable population, but if you shift the view of it, which really looks at it from a right, it's a human right. We understand that throughout the life cycle, persons will face certain vulnerabilities, certain shocks. It is up to the state, and it's a responsibility of the state to ensure that as you move and you're affected by those shocks through the life cycle, you're able to be resilient, you're able to have coping mechanisms to do so. And so the intent here is that as a responsible government, working with our partners, we're looking at the full holistic system, looking at what we do currently, and also looking at what should be done, and then trying to ensure that those strategies, those programs, those policies are in place to either prevent or to protect families as they're going through the life cycle and faced with different shocks like disasters, economic, etc.
So this is it's a good educational moment for our viewers, especially those who may not fully understand what is social protection or their rights when it comes to social protection. So I'm glad that you're breaking it down for us in that manner. Would you, before we move on to our other guests, be able to shed some light on some of one or two of the key social protection programs that are currently in place?
All right, so speaking from the perspective of the Ministry of Human Development, for example, we have, for example, the Boost program, right? And so the Boost program really looks at trying to support families in terms of different areas. So it's one, steady cash transfer. It's a cash transfer program. And so we also have targeting in terms of 0 to 4, and that's specifically as it relates to the nutritional outcomes. We have children in school, whether it's primary, whether it's secondary. There's a focus in the program in terms of persons with disability, elderly, 60 plus, and then pregnant women. And so the idea behind that is that you have a periodic support basically over a time in terms of trying to achieve those specific outcomes. And so when we look at that program, basically the idea is that it's really helping families to be able to realize those outcomes. So that's one. There's other programs in terms of, for example, we have, because we have other programs and we're also, the adequacy, of course, and the coverage of those programs, of course, we're going to be discussing as well. But we also have other assistance, for example, through the Social Security, in terms of Social Security benefits, and I'd prefer Ms. Leticia share on those.
All right, your 5 minutes is up.
Yes, when we speak about social protection, it's really a wide gamut of different type of programs. We have 4 components, right? We have what Delan has mentioned, and the Boost program. Those are social assistance, and we have the social welfare type, the active labor market policies, and we also have, which is, I would say, the key or the core in Belize, is the social insurance or social security programs. Okay. So this covers over 95% of all, in terms of the outreach. Now, in terms of social protection now, what we want to do is really strengthen what we have, like as well as add, for us to meet the basic needs of our population. So one of the things, one of the core areas that we are looking forward to is to have a national social protection framework and strategy. And that is one of the core reasons for this 1-week summit, to move ahead in that. Now, in terms of social security and social insurance, we have several benefits, but we don't have a complete package yet. What is missing is the unemployment insurance and the family care. Okay. Now, you saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, what happened. Unemployment zoomed up. Yeah. People were long lines in our offices trying to collect, but these were based on what the government revenues was giving out. But what we want to make it is sustainable and adequate, So what we are, and of course increase the coverage. So we want to introduce the unemployment insurance as part of the SDG joint program. But what we are doing, it needs to be a step by step. You know how it goes, in terms of the change that we need to have. So we are starting with a cost assessment, which is finalizing right now. We are in the revision process. And after the cost assessment, we are going to study the active labor market policies, because it's not only to give out unemployment benefit, but also to see how you can actually be employed and remain in the workforce, right? So to be self-sustained. So we have to work along very closely with those persons who deal with that. And then, of course, the other stages will be the social dialogue, buy-in from the public, and then the legislative amendments if necessary, and see how the institutions, can carry out this new benefit. So that's one of the core. And then we also speak about the National Social Protection Strategy, inclusive of the social protection floors. And the social protection floors actually takes you from, we say it from the womb to the tomb, from all the your lifespan, the life cycle. So when we talk about children, for example, we speak about universal child benefits, and when we speak about the working age population, well, we are championing right now the unemployment insurance, plus improvement in terms of the adequacy and the coverage and sustainability of those current benefits that we have. Then we go to the elderly, the older age people, and there we talk about universal pension coverage, which we don't have. Okay. So right now, only those who are contributory in a sense are secured with with Social Security have a pension. But how about those who have never contributed or can not, meet the qualifying conditions for that? How can we have universal pension coverage beyond the non-contributory pension, which is really not targeting the entire population because of the problem of sustainability, because it's funded from contributory pension. But we need help in terms of the financing, of the universal pension coverage. And then, of course, the one that spreads across is the health, universal health coverage. And for that, we have currently the rollout of the NHI and other things.
Okay. Well, I think what you've done, Ms. Vega, just through that brief explanation, is kind of break some of the misconceptions of what Social Security really is. Because at times we tend to think that Social Security is just to take a piece of your salary and then like, man, you take that money and use that for something else. But then when you frame it in that way, it shows that it's really a social protection program, right? And that it is meant to benefit Belizeans, and then we start to talk about conversations of unemployment benefits as well, and that's huge. And so I appreciate how you've broken that down to kind of show us the importance of Social Security as a part of protecting the vulnerable, the employed, and now we're talking about the sick and the unemployed as well.
Exactly. I just want, it's a protection for all people. A metaphor that I use to explain social protection is an umbrella. So you have sunny days, you don't need umbrella, you have fun with your family, but what if it rains? If you have an umbrella, you're protected, you don't get rain. If you don't have an umbrella, you're screwed. So in life, across life, you have different different risk and vulnerability. You might be unemployed, you might have disability, you might be sick, you may lose, you may have a child and now your cost of living is increasing. You may retire from work and you may be elderly. And a great social protection systems and countries that build those systems protect the people. Even if you have risk and vulnerability, if you're living in poverty, the government or its social security system, the Social Security Board, is there to help you bring protection. Because once you have those risk and vulnerability, your life can completely change.
But is this something that we can afford, though? Because I see us bringing up social protection for unemployed persons, for instance. And we oftentimes think of Social Security, as Paul mentioned, as us making our contributions and then getting it back if you need it at some point. We've often seen in the news as well where persons are saying, I can't get my Social Security returns after they have retired. So is this something that we are prepared to take on financially?
I think I just want to speak a little bit on why the bigger
pie that we're talking about here, because this part is only a small part of a larger program, which is the UN SDG Fund Joint Program. And that has two outcomes. And we've spoken a lot about the first outcome, which is reducing the vulnerabilities and reducing the risk of the vulnerabilities as well. But there's outcome two as well of the project, which has to do with increasing productivity. Because a lot of the time we're always talking, like you rightly mentioned, you know, that people can fall into these situations, and we kind of think of it fiscally. Well, why are we going to keep on giving our money to people if anything like that? Can we afford to do that? But that's where outcome two comes in, because we're not only trying to just give people money as the notion, the stereotype is, but we're also trying to build their capacity to participate within the system in itself and not need social protection or be less likely to fall into the risk of having to get these types of social assistances. So that's where outcome two comes in, increasing productivity. And so the way we've done that is that we did a value chain analysis in Belize, and we identified two value chains: sustainable tourism and the manufacturing of dried products. And with those value chains, what we want to do is scale up the local capacities. And so we're not trying to, you know, finance these bigger projects, but we're trying to go into the local communities and see where these actors can be scaled up within the value chain, and where they can scale up their business so that they can be productive, and so they won't need the social assistance as much. I mean, they're still going to have that protection there in any event, if anything happens, because life happens. But we're also looking at the other side of the coin, which is we're also giving you opportunities, and we're also looking into economic opportunities for the local communities. So we've started to do that in Hopkins and Dangriga, because I know that we're always talking about the South, and the South is where it needs it, you know, a lot of, we need to give more attention to the South, and I feel like that's where this project really wants to do, where we want to do social protection, but not entirely, you know, for the entire country, but also look at where needs it the most as well.
I think that any responsible government will not ignore social protection and social assistance. Is and I'm learning here just based on this conversation, but it seems to be the difference between having a society that is rapidly deteriorating or having a society that is growing and improving and flourishing by paying focus and attention to those vulnerabilities, those areas where you look and you realize, hey, these people, this community is trying, this family is trying, but they really need that assistance, that boost, that encouragement through various means to improve themselves and to improve their lifestyle and their way of life, whether it be, like you say, through businesses, seeing how we could help communities establish more economy and boost their business. How do we ensure, though, that there is not a duplication of efforts per se through the various ministries, and then sometimes you have area representatives that may also be seeking to do things, and then you have a duplication of efforts. Like, for example, if you talk about Boost, which is a cash transfer, but then also you're on another side talking about unemployment assistance. Where do we go to ensure that there's not a duplication of effort to spread resources adequately across the board?
I think it's definitely embedded within this 4 days. And so it's really to bring the partners to the table. One, we have to understand what exactly we're doing. Two, we have to understand what those things that we're doing in terms of what's the objectives, who are the beneficiaries, what exactly are we supporting families with. Having that conversations in terms of what are these programs trying to achieve. And then, of course, looking at what is it in terms of the programs do we invest in terms of scale up, in terms of replication or duplication from one area to another. These programs might be focused, for example, within one district versus a national coverage, for example. And so that is the kind of conversation that we have to have as one. So it's really a whole of government approach. And when I say whole of government, not just necessarily just government, but all partners. So what is it that government is doing? What is it that civil society is doing? What is it that private sector is doing? The unions, all partners really, to try and understand what is the landscape. What is it that we can utilize, or what is it that we're committing to do in terms of cash transfer programs, in terms of the wider social assistance from the side of the social security? What is it that, as Ms. Vega has shared just now, in terms of adding in another benefit as it relates to unemployment. So what is the landscape, and how is it then that we're committing to say, okay, well, these programs are what we're going to consider as part of the floor and the strategy. These are the policy statements as it relates to social protection, and this is what we're going to invest in. And I think that helps the conversation in terms of really understand what we're trying to do, but also then in terms of the efficiency. We also, as Ms. Vega spoke to, universal versus targeted. How is it that we start targeting specifically the groups, right? And so it's an improvement also in terms of the systems we use, the way we look at reaching people, right? And that's really the power of it in terms of ensuring that we're reaching the right people, right? And supporting them over time to ensure in terms of from an empowerment standpoint that we're helping them really to deal with issues, the emergency issues, because the reality of it is that there's the political economy side of it, where politicians will be politicians and they will support their area and their residents. And that's understood, because the reality is that the emergency relief, if I could call it in that frame, is necessary because families are requiring food, they're requiring assistance. But the reality is that as we're looking at this, it's the bigger picture. You know, what is the long-term support and assistance that would help that family to get out of poverty? And that is really the conversation and of course the action that we will hope to achieve from this summit in terms of really identifying those things that really help to move people from the situation they are in terms of poverty out.
What has been the contribution so far from what has taken place yesterday?
So yesterday, specifically, we focused on statistics, which is really a big part of it. And so in discussion with the various partners, SIB, that was also led by ILO. And so really statistics is one of the biggest part of it because it really helps us to understand what's the situation, right? And of course, it also brings visibility to those vulnerable groups because we can't be making decisions really on anecdotal information, but more so data. So it's really understanding what we have in terms of statistics, but also understanding what we need in terms of the situation itself. And so really that part of it, in terms of yesterday's specific, really helps us to kind of trigger the full conversation around statistics. Last week, that's the value chain outcome 2 side of things. And so really now we bring all of those conversations into this week in terms of the cross-cutting discussions, as I said.
I just wanted to build off of what Dylan was saying as well, just to bring it back to what Ms. Letty was saying. All of these efforts are part of a larger strategy. That is what I think the main output that we want from this program to be, a strategy. And so within that strategy will be a coordination mechanism that will speak on all the stakeholders that are involved in the efforts that we're doing. There's going to be a mechanism in which they function in and they operate in, and so we're going to try to lessen the duplication and increase our coordination and all of these efforts that we're talking about. I just want to make sure that we know that the main output is that there is going to be a strategy that will have these things. It will have data generation capabilities. They will have a repository, a data repository. It will have coordination mechanisms. I mean, that's basically the goal of it, that we're going to have all of these things under one umbrellas per se, which is the strategy, and that's how we're going to move forward, and that's kind of going to be our foundation for continuing the efforts as well.
So what are the organizations or the entities involved in these discussions? I know they're ongoing and there's a high-level discussion today. Do we have representatives from within these communities themselves as well that will be around these tables having these discussions? Because oftentimes we decide on what is best for a community without that community input. I'm not accusing any of us of doing that, but that's how it works sometimes, and you really need that input from communities themselves as well.
It's to say one in terms of the Ministry of Human Development, the Ministry of Economic Development, as a part of the joint program, let me step back to say that, as a part of the joint program in terms of what gets us to a universal, adaptive, sustainable social protection strategy. MED has been a part of it, the Ministry of Human Development, SSB, the Ministry of Rural Transformation, Beltrade, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Office of the Prime Minister, Am I missing anybody? Just as that initial core group, along with the, as we call them, the PUNAs in terms of the support from UNICEF, ILO, and World Food Program. And so that's kind of the initial set. When we look at who all is going to be involved, just specific to the summit as well, we have roughly about 120 persons confirmed in terms of registration for this specific summit across the 4 days. When we look at that breakdown just quickly, we have 14 government organizations, we have BCCI as a private, we have CSOs, quasi-government, academia, UN, embassy, unions, just as a cross-cutting representation. Now, of course, our hope is that these are representative organizations, but does not necessarily divorce us from also ensuring that they're representing the voices of who they serve, but also they're also consulting on their own as well as a part of this process. So this is, yes, 4 days, but the intent is that we also build on this and continue to evolve this process, because the strategy, yes, is definitely what we're trying to get at the end of the day, but the intent is not a static strategy, right? It's an evolving process, no? And so bringing them, no?
Momentum to it. I work in New York, so I flew into Belize yesterday because my role is to support different countries on social protection. And this kind of summit, social protection summit, doesn't happen in countries. I work on 130 countries, and I heard about Belize is doing a social protection summit at the highest level of government involving 40 organizations. I have to join. I really respect to all the organizers behind it, because if you only focus on one element or one organization, your social protection, your umbrella is going to be so small. But what the colleagues in Belize are really trying to do is, let's bring all the voices, let's bring all the resources, let's discuss the big picture strategy. And I'm really excited about this.
In your experience, what's the hallmark of countries or communities that have robust social protection strategies?
One is the buy-in. So it just cannot be a paper. It just have to be endorsed, owned, and have a strategy. The second is what you mentioned about the money. It is not only about beautifully articulating the program, but you have to put money and investment behind it. So I think that is a key decision making. And number 3 is what you've mentioned. If we have a blueprint, are they going to reach the most vulnerable? We have seen a lot of countries that invest, they have a beautiful strategy. If you go to the villages, if you go to the people who are suffering the most, they still aren't accessing the benefit because they don't have the documentation or they wouldn't understand the process. So it has to be coupled with a reality check, which I think in the case of Belize, it's really embedded, but I will look at those 3 points.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think we always say Belize is taking the high road to social protection, especially based on our experience with the pandemic, and then now with the inflation, and so we have to take the high road. But we, as Delan said, rights-based, but Timon mentioned, it has to be as well human-centered. So those components are critical, in this whole process. And social protection is now becoming a buzzword in Belize, which for me is a plus. So it's part of that change that we want to drive. And I believe in terms of the incorporation of all the stakeholders in civil society. We also have the final day, what we call a marketplace, kind of like where we will be exhibiting the different social protection programs, but we are inviting students as well. So we are also seeing continuity, the other generations to come,
so that they can be aware.
Wonderful. Well, this conversation was definitely insightful. Sab, you learned anything?
I certainly learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to having you guys back after the summit. I definitely want to learn what was the overall outcome of the summit and what we can expect after that. So this is your early invitation.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes, thanks guys so much for joining us. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, the conversation switches into preventing childhood obesity in the Caribbean. Don't go away.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Respira. Este es un momento de paz patrocinado por Nutribón, dedicado a todos los padres que llevan 5 noches sin dormir. Inhala y exhala. Porque entre el caos y la calma está el cereal infantil Nutribón, enriquecido con todos los nutrientes que tu bebé necesita para un crecimiento saludable, haciendo de su primer alimento un momento de alegría para él y uno de tranquilidad para ti. Cereal infantil Nutribón. Momentos que nutren. Encuentra sus 6 sabores al mejor precio en supermercados o tu mercadito más cercano.
Visit Benny's today to get all your household and construction needs, from tiles to paints, electrical and plumbing supplies, to power tools, lights and fans, to kitchen appliances and faucets, gym equipment to household items. We have what you need. We also offer store-wide promotions for you, our customers, so you can enjoy deals and discounts all year long. To get more value for your purchase, take advantage of Benny's B-Bucks, which is free money. All you have to do is shop at any Benny's location or entity. Stop in at Benny's Home Center on Regent Street, Benny's Bargain Center on Freetown Road, Benny's Superstore 2.5 miles Philip Golson Highway, or Benny's Cayo 43 miles George Price Highway just outside Belmopan. Enjoy special offers, free delivery, and get rewarded with free money when you shop at Benny's today. Benny's, quality and savings.
Homeowners, immerse yourselves in elegance. Surround yourself with the beauty of one-of-a-kind, quality wood furniture. This is what America's elegant furniture and appliances has to offer. Trendy, affordable, and exceptional centerpieces, large mirrors, vanities, plush sofa sets, coffee tables, office furniture, exquisite mahogany bedroom sets, home decor, mattresses, and so much more. Shop our new reduced prices store-wide and get huge discounts daily. Our layaway and payment plans offer the lowest interest rates guaranteed. Our extensive catalog meets everyone's furniture needs, and if you can't find what you're looking for, then we'll custom make it for you. Shop at Mirka's and save. Mirka's, making your household dreams affordable.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
All right, right, and we are back with another very important and what will turn out to be a very insightful conversation. It's on preventing childhood obesity in the Caribbean. And we have joining us via Zoom Daniel Walwyn, who's the advocacy officer and the lead coordinator at Healthy Caribbean Youth, a Healthy Caribbean Coalition, as well as Kerry Barker, who is a Healthy Caribbean Youth member and Master of Public Health student.
Good
morning to both of you.
Morning. Good morning.
All right, so I guess I want to start with asking about this organization. What is it that you guys do? What's your mission over there?
Thank you so much again for having us. So the Healthy Caribbean Coalition is a network of civil society organizations really focused on the prevention and control of non-communicable diseases. And we do this sort of work largely through empowering our civil society organization members. So for example, the Belize Cancer Society is a member of the Healthy Caribbean Coalition.
Nice.
And we do quite a bit of work. I know you all are familiar with them.
Yeah.
We do quite a bit of work also in partnership with some regional organizations like PAHO and CARFA and UNICEF. And then Healthy Caribbean Youth, which is the youth arm of the Healthy Caribbean Coalition, has a very similar mandate. And a lot of our work does focus on issues that are pertaining to children and youth within the healthy food policy space, as well as largely anything to do with NCD prevention and control.
Nice.
So we do a lot of work, but that's a general summary.
Let's talk about your work as it pertains to childhood obesity in the Caribbean and preventing childhood obesity. What are we seeing in terms of how prevalent this issue is within the Caribbean? What is the data showing?
Well, the data is actually showing us that 1 in 3 Caribbean children is overweight or obese. And this was actually, I think we had this figure from pre-COVID, and we know that during COVID, children actually very suffered. Physical activity opportunities were limited. The food environment was severely restricted. So it's actually possible that this is actually a lot greater. And why we're concerned about this is that this puts children at greater risk of developing NCDs. As Daniel mentioned, that's the focus of the Healthy Caribbean Coalition, Healthy Caribbean Youth. And not only, people tend to think that, okay, NCDs, heart attacks, stroke, diabetes, these are things of old age, but we're actually seeing people being diagnosed with and dying from them a lot earlier and earlier and earlier. So we really want to ensure that where possible, we can prevent children, we'll prevent all people, but starting in childhood, from developing these diseases.
What have we noted that is leading to this such prevalence in child obesity within the Caribbean? You're saying 1 out of every 3 children. Is it the easy access to sugary products? Could it be that families and communities, parents aren't fully informed on what a healthy diet may or may not look like for a child?
Yeah, well, so you kind of hit it on the head. We've noticed that the NCD epidemic in the Caribbean is largely driven by diet and unhealthy diet. And that's diets high in foods that are high in salt, sugars, fats, and contain other preservatives, whatnot. And we find that these are taking a greater hold in our markets and our supermarket shelves and our diets compared to natural homegrown products. So definitely, yes, diet is a huge driver of this.
So is it, because when you mentioned the types of food that we're eating, I immediately thought about Caribbean food, right, Paul?
Yeah.
For instance, here in Belize, we love our rice and beans and chicken and salad, and oftentimes that would be a heavier type of meal. So it might not be completely balanced as it relates to having all the food groups. So is that a concern then? Are we using a lot of starch in our meals and not really including more vegetables because of maybe the culture that we have here in the Caribbean?
Daniel?
I think, yes, I think that we have to be mindful of our portion sizes. We do have really good foods, and Carrie alluded to this, that we have seen this nutrition transition. So what you're mentioning are foods that might have been locally grown, and those are, we know, are quite nutritious. But unfortunately, what we're seeing is a surge in what we call ultra processed products. So these foods that are high in salt and sugar and fat. And as Carrie said, those are the products that are becoming a lot more prevalent, a lot more easily accessible, and also very heavily marketed. And particularly when we're talking about schools and school environments, that's where we're really, really seeing these products being more accessible than we'd like to children and young people. And unfortunately, with this surge in these products, they're kind of overtaking the healthier foods that we know we should be consuming more of. The fact that unhealthy foods are more prevalent, it's kind of booting out the healthy foods, which, you know, we really want the healthy foods to be most accessible, and we want that to be the norm.
Where does the education begin? Does it begin at home, where there, for example, I know not here in Belize, but in other parts of the Caribbean, fried chicken, like KFC and these different outlets, these different chains. Fortunately, we don't have that here
Unfortunately,
in Belize.
fortunately.
But in homes, that's perhaps one of the go-tos. Let's get a quick meal. Let's get something that can easily be accessed. In homes, we don't necessarily have that traditional approach anymore, where you grow your produce in your backyard, you're growing food in your backyard, and you provide that for your family. And then at school, it's so easy to access candy, sugary drinks. So where does the education begin, and how can we get families and schools to understand that we need to do better?
Yeah, well, it's important to note the food environment is very multifaceted and multi-layered. So you mentioned, yes, children start in the family and then they go to school, but then there's also the wider environment that they live in, the wider community, and actually education can start at all these various levels. And then we specifically focus on the school setting, and why we think the school setting is important is that if you look at how much time out of a child's day they spend at school, is fairly significant. You mentioned about a third of their day is spent at school. And there have been various covenants and mandates internationally, but also signed on by Caribbean leaders that designate schools as health promoting spaces. And that is to say that we acknowledge that children spend so much time at their school. And I think when you send your child to that school, you actually expect and hope that they're safe, that they're being taken care of. So we want to ensure that schools are health promoting environments, and schools, children are actually getting access to healthy and nutritious foods at school, which is actually part of one of their human rights. Students have rights to access to education, but they also have rights to access healthy and nutritious foods. And linking to your education point, but where schools present a very good educational avenue, because you have children there so much of their day, you have parents that interact with the children that are at school. So schools actually do present an excellent avenue for that educational component that you talked about.
I want to talk about the buy-in that's involved when we're trying to prevent childhood obesity. As you mentioned, there has to be some form of participation from the schools as well as the parents. How do you go about campaigning for that through these two avenues?
Parents and schools. So one of the things that the Healthy Caribbean Coalition does, as I mentioned before, is we empower our civil society organizations on the ground who have ears to the ground, who are very engaged with the public. And so they are one of the main mechanisms for getting the word out about the need to implement these sort of policies that we're mentioning and creating these healthier environments. So they are a mechanism for getting the word out, but also a mechanism for engaging not only parents, but even the policymakers who are the ones that can implement the policies that we need to, again, protect and create these healthier environments. So our civil society organizations play a huge role there. And of course, within the civil society organizations or even outside of those, young people, especially when we're talking about the school environments, have a huge role to play in terms of speaking the same language as other young people. That's one of the main reasons why we launched Healthy Caribbean Youth, youth to youth. Again, trying to get that buy-in from other young people on the importance of this issue. So it's, as Carrie mentioned, it is multifaceted. We need multiple strategies, but one of the biggest value adds, especially from Healthy Caribbean Coalition's point, is the value of civil society organizations and advocating, but also gaining traction around these policies.
I think it's key that you get the buy-in through civil societies from policymakers. Indeed, one of the uphill battles, I would imagine, is the great access to resources that some of these businesses promoting these unhealthy foods have in terms of their big marketing budget. Everywhere you go, you'll see these unhealthy foods and snacks advertised. They're always in your face, always on the commercials. And in a sense, you can't blame a business per se, although they have a social responsibility for wanting to turn over a profit, because, well, that's what they're there to do. But at the end of the day, when policymakers come in, policymakers can really make a difference in terms of implementing legislation, implementing these types of policies that mandates some of these businesses and marketing agents to not only promote these unhealthy products, but also to understand that they have a social responsibility as well. But I would imagine that's one of the huge issues we have in the Caribbean, the marketing of certain unhealthy products. Danielle?
You're right. And it's something that we're continuing to advocate for. As Carrie mentioned, one of the main environments that we're focusing on, because really what we would like to see, and I noted in Belize's nutrition policy, this is something that aligns with that as well, is an overarching marketing restriction, especially to children. But one of the things that we're really advocating for is a school environment for all the reasons we've mentioned before, because it should be a protected space, because it should be, again, a space where children learn and are active and are their best selves, and also acknowledging their right to health. And so we have seen some progress. So for example, Barbados recently implemented their school nutrition policy and included a marketing regulation within that policy. And I think for resource constrained settings like ours in the region, that's what we should be aiming for. Is although we would love to see marketing on a larger scale curbed, let's focus on that school environment where I think all parties can agree that it's really meant to be a space for children to thrive. So yes, we have seen some pushback, but I think we can, again, all parties can kind of agree that that should be a protected space. And so we're really advocating for at least a start to be in regulating the marketing, the sale and marketing of these products in the school environment.
We had Healthy Caribbean Youth, we recently launched a paper on conflicts of interest, because what you've mentioned actually reflects a conflict of interest, because that is, we know that schools are supposed to be healthy, promoting environments. But we know that then industries are coming into these schools and sharing and marketing and pushing products that are not healthy. So these two interests conflict, and therefore it's really important that schools recognize this, that governments recognize this, and implement stronger policies to ensure that these unhealthy products don't get access to the school environment.
What are examples that you guys can give of alternative approaches that schools are taking to provide healthier options for their students?
Yeah, so we have a few, but one, and probably Carrie can speak even more to this, in Barbados, because as you all mentioned from the very outset, we have our local food and we have a way of making our local food. In Barbados, for example, they would have had, the Barbados Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados and their Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition, for example, would have had vendor trainings with the vendors at schools and taught them how to create these what we know to be our foods and make them healthier. So there's strategies like that. I don't know, Carrie, if you have any other ideas.
Yeah, well, some other options were for the same organization. They started out with restrictions. So just solely, restricting the sale of certain beverages in schools that are high in sugar, promoting the consumption of more water, advocating for more water coolers. Because of course, if you want to tell children, look, you should not be drinking these beverages, you should be drinking water, you need to make sure they have access to water.
Right.
Educating parents, having fairs. One that actually encourage more that the health promoting private sector kind of fills that void. So instead of promoting unhealthy products in schools, you're promoting more healthier products in schools.
Do you guys have data on the non-communicable diseases that children are getting because of the issue with obesity?
Specific stats I don't have at the moment, but we know that there's been, just as we see with adults, we have seen this increase in diabetes and hypertension, and pediatricians, as Carrie would have mentioned at the outset, would have actually written a letter, a call to action during the COVID-19 pandemic, because they were seeing some very harmful behaviors in terms of overconsumption of the foods that we have been talking about, limited physical activity. And so as Carrie said, we are anticipating that has gotten worse, but the very same conditions that we know impact adults are unfortunately impacting children and young people at a much younger age.
The Caribbean, the Healthy Caribbean Youth Initiative, is this something that is established or seeking to be established here in Belize? Because I haven't heard of a youth arm such as this in Belize, and one would imagine it would be helpful to have something like this here in this country.
Yeah, so we are, well, the Healthy Caribbean Coalition is regional, so we have CSOs across the region, and so we invite young people from Belize, please. We actually don't have any members from Belize yet, and so this would be a great, thank you for the recruiting opportunity. So we would be very, very happy to have any young people who are really passionate about shaping a healthier Caribbean and want to meet other young people from various backgrounds who are also interested in that. So you can look up healthycaribbean.org. Under Healthy Caribbean Youth, and the form to fill out will be right there. So thank you for the recruitment, and I hope that we have some young people from Belize join.
Excellent. Wonderful. All right. Well, ladies, I'll ask you if you have any last words as we are about to wrap up this segment.
Well, just a reminder, as we said before, that access to health, access to safe and nutritious foods, access to education, these are all actually human rights. They were protected under the Convention of the Rights of the Child. So it's really on us as duty bearers and on us to actually ensure that children actually receive these rights that they're entitled to.
And from my end, just along with all the policies that we continue to advocate for, is also a push for youth to be more meaningfully engaged in these decision-making processes. That has been a big thing for us, and that HCC amplifies in whatever space we can. The decisions that we're making about, for example, what we're talking about today, nutrition and the health status of children, any decision related to that is going to impact children and young people. And so really they should be, young people and children of all backgrounds should be involved in that decision-making process.
Alrighty. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to having future conversations like this with you again, and hopefully we have some Belize CSRs as well representing us as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you too.
Alrighty, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, it's all about the importance of Insurance Awareness Month. Don't go away.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
At times, life can become full of challenges and feel overwhelming. Conditions such as depression, anxiety, substance dependence, and a family history of suicide or previous suicide attempts are also factors that may contribute to suicide. A suicidal person may experience feelings of hopelessness, worthlessness, emptiness, and being a burden to family and friends. They feel like they have exhausted all their options and there is no way out. Suicidal people do not truly want to die, but see it as the only option to end the unbearable pain they are in. If you or someone you know needs help, contact us at phone number 828-5992, or you can visit your nearest hospital and ask to speak with a mental health nurse. Services are available countrywide.
My Social Security. Your direct online access to all your Social Security information. 360 view of all your Social Security information. Registration services, benefits, contributions, and employer services at your fingertips. Enjoy all the new features with your My Social Security account. Register with SSB. Submission of benefit claims. Submission of contribution statements. View contribution record. Enjoy all your My Social Security feature at ssbportal.org.bz. Social Security at your fingertips.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Welcome back. We are having our third and final conversation for the morning, and it's all about the importance of Insurance Awareness Month. We are joined by our friends from Belize, also known as the Belize Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. We have here with us Candice Main, and she is the Vice President of Belize. Good morning. As well as Dion Robinson, and he is the Public Relations Officer, also with Belize. Good morning, guys, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Yes. It's a pleasure.
Let's get the conversation started with the role of Belize. I think the name kind of speaks for itself, but just to have further information on what exactly you guys do.
Okay, so Belize, it is a tongue twister, but it stands for Belize Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. And we're about 30 years old, founded in 1994, believe it or not, by one of the late Harry Pilgrim. He's one of the founding members, along with Mr. Jim Forrester and Mr. Coe. And one of our roles is to set industry standards for our advisors as we go about doing our daily activities. But we do have a motto that we go by, which is enriching the lives through financial freedom. And one way how we do that is by educating our members and also educating the general public. So with Insurance Awareness Month, the theme this year is insurance, financial resilience for every stage of life. And I guess just as, well, advisors, we build long life relationship with our clients. And as a good marriage, you're there, the marriage should last through good times, bad times, and through sickness and in health. And it's the same way we want to build plans that are there for you, not only in the bad times, but also in the good times. So as it relates to when you're sick, but also when you have a newborn, or when you send your children off to school, or when you go on a happy retirement. So we want the plan to be able to survive all of that, or at least you have plans for those aspects. But it all comes from financial planning and budgeting, and we are spreading the awareness on financial literacy because your income sometimes dictates your lifestyle, and we need to be able to spread that. You have to plan and you have to sit down and do a budgeting, and so we try to do that through, we want to spread that awareness through the activities that we have planned out for this month. So far we have done what we're
well, the first thing we started with a webinar, which was retire planning, which is retire or rehire. And you know, we're in that position whereby some persons are at retirement age, but because they didn't properly plan,
they have to
go back into the workforce again. So you reach 65 and then you might still have a mortgage to pay. And how will I pay that? That means I have to go back and get a job. But because of their age, they were making maybe say $50,000 a year, but because of their age now, they have to go back to maybe to only $15,000 a year because nobody wanted to pay them that same amount of money. So that's what the webinar was about, to make the Belizean public who was a part of it to be aware of how you plan. So you can plan properly, so your savings is right, your investment is right. And we don't have much investments that we can make in Belize, unfortunately. But whatever investment that you can get it done now before it's too late. We don't want you to have that. Also, what we recently did, which was this week, we had a food drive. And that food drive, we have to say thanks to Brody's on the Northern Highway, and have to say also thanks to Publix who have allowed us to be at their store doing this food drive. And for that food drive, the proceeds of that will be going to the Liberty Children's Home. And that's something that we do on a yearly basis. Every year we gather the food items. Some persons don't give us food items, they give us money, so we take that same money and we go right back into the store and purchase the stuff.
We would strategically go at these stores and we will have a short saying telling persons the cause, and they restore hope in humanity. Because persons go in and they pick up a lot of stuff and bring them out. And they said, give us some suggestions, and whatever we tell them, they come back out. Some persons run back, say, oh my goodness, I forgot, and they would go back inside, or they would donate the money. And I think this week we plan to do the handover, so you guys should get a call because we normally air it, where we do the handover and hand it over to Liberty Children's Home up in Ladyville.
Also, we had our colleagues in Kaya who also did this, and they are, the proceeds for them will be going to the Women's Battered Shelter in San Ignacio, and also Marla's House of Hope in Belmopan.
Now, when we say advisors, we are speaking primarily about insurance agents.
Insurance agents, yes.
Correct?
From all the different companies.
So from all the different companies.
Yeah, presently, she's from Sagicor, I'm from RFNG.
Okay.
Yes. So the association is made up of advisors or agents from Sagicor Life, Inc., from RFNG Life, from Atlantic Insurance, and also from Diversify Life Solutions.
Now, you term it advisors, and I would imagine it's an adequate terminology because the work of an insurance agent is somewhat of an advisor in terms of a financial advisor.
Yes.
Let's talk about that role or that responsibility, and how important is it to the agent to understand who they are in interacting with citizens or potential clients or even clients.
So when you get up in the morning, I would say you brush your teeth and you put on your cape, your jacket, and you ought to go out and talk to persons about planning, to bring a light that, listen, when you cough, your light doesn't go off. So what happens if you are critically ill? You have to have something in place. But it all starts back to the budgeting, because we have to find the money in order to be able to afford the products. So we normally sit persons down. There are times when we can't find any disposable income, and then they have to work towards it. And there are times that we can point out and say that, you know, maybe you're spending too much in this area, and if it is that this is important to you, then you'll make the amendments to your lifestyle, right? So that we wake up every day and thinking how we can help others achieve their goals, and in so we get ours.
Do you think that the general public believes that insurance is for higher paying bracket of people?
I do find that. I do find that at times, but you know, we all have all our different companies. We all have a motto that insurance is affordable for every person, and we all of us have different plans that can cater to basically anybody. All right, and that's what we try to strive on. That insurance can be for everybody, but there's a type of stigma out there that insurance doesn't work and all that, but it's just as though you have a car, and when you bought the car, you knew that the car had airbags, but you don't use the airbag. But it's there in the event that you need it, and it's the same thing with insurance. It's the same thing with insurance. It's there for when it's needed. I recently spoke to an ex-colleague of you guys who used to work here, who recently got insurance, and thank God he had it, because he got sick like 2 months after that, and he met me at the market last week and said, "Man, thank you for signing me up, because I got very sick, and if I didn't have that, I would have been in the grave."
Yeah. Oftentimes, I think when we realize where insurance could have come in handy is when, you know, you're faced with some type of health issue, and now you have to fundraise and you have to ask for donations. So I want to touch a bit on the affordability of insurance. As you mentioned, it can be given to anyone depending on the bracket of income that you create. So what would you say is one of the lowest insurance payments that you could pay?
If you're looking at life, it can be anything from, depending on the amount that you get, it can be anything from $25.
Really?
Yeah.
I recently got insured through my company, but health insurance, and I could recall before having insurance that I was sick, and I had to visit one of the private health facilities, and when they slapped me with that bill, I was like, man, I only have 1 hour. What happened?
Imagine you had overnight.
Right? Like, what happened? And then I got insured, and I read through the benefits, and I was like, if only I had this insurance at that time. But it presents a level of security.
Correct.
To say that if I'm to fall sick or something like that, that I am certain there will be a level of affordability there, regardless of where I go. And for me, that's worth more than what I'm paying on a monthly basis in terms of my premium. But it took some convincing, I'll be honest.
Yes.
It took some convincing for me to get to that point, because I was one of those individuals that denied, and that they kept coming, and I kept saying no.
Because you drink your vitamins, right?
Right. And I young and I healthy, and you know that Social Security don't detect me money, income tax don't detect me money. Why I will give more money to insurance? But so yeah.
See, and that's a misconception that we do have. We think that we are young and invincible.
Yeah.
And sickness doesn't play any date. Don't have a date. Don't have an age range, and don't have a time when you're going to get help. You're going to get sick. It happens to everybody and anybody at any time.
Or social status.
You know,
it happens to the best of us. But insurance is a risk transfer mechanism, and it's part of the risk management. And you would want to know that when these mishaps happen, that you can share it with a big insurance company, because other than that, you're either absorbing it. I mean, if your bank account is saying it's big, then you can absorb it on your own. Or if you want to, you can share it to your coworkers. I mean, they get paid. They can afford to help you battle your medical expenses. Or, I mean, you can transfer it to an insurance company and for a portion of your pay. So maybe say give up 5% of your pay to protect the other 95. So that's the idea. But, you know, we have to go about preaching it and change the culture, because we do have a mindset against it. So it's to change it and give testimonies as to how it have helped persons, you know, along the way. And besides that, the association, besides the food drive that we have done, the other thing that we plan to do this Friday, October 20th, is the Financial Health and Wellness Fair that will be held at Battlefield Park between 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the purpose of that, again, is always to spread the awareness and help persons to plan financially. And some of their goals might be to get that dream home. So we have invited banks, credit unions to be out there. We have invited some real estate agents in case you need to know where you want to build your dream house, or they can help you find that dream house. And we have also invited Ministry of Health, of course, to do the general health checkups as well.
So where will this take place?
Battlefield Park downtown.
So I gathered that as advisors, your work is more, entails more than just seeking to, get buy-in from a client to buy an insurance package. Because you're talking about mortgage, you're talking about budgeting. These are all important components of your work, right?
Yeah, we're not just going out there to sell.
Yeah.
We're going out there to make our society better. Let's put it that way.
And it's on a need basis. So we go through a fact find with you, find out your needs, and then we make recommendation based on your budget. So it's not that you're supposed to give up paying for your light bill in order to afford insurance, right? It's supposed to fit in your budget, because it is a lifelong commitment.
So let's talk a bit about that conversation that is had initially, a preliminary conversation, initial conversation with a potential client, but just somebody seeking that sort of advice and wondering if they could afford. What's the conversation that we would have?
So the initial conversation is getting to know each other, because I need to know what your goals are in order to make any suggestions. So I find out what worries you at night, or what drives you, and I find out what you have in place. And then we go through your income and expenses, and what are you doing to help you get those goals that you told me about. And then we talk about the risks involved. With your plan, there are risks. What would happen to this big plan that you have in case this happens. So let's see if we can afford to put something in place to mitigate that risk. So those are some of the conversation, but it's never a hard sell. We sit down, we get to know each other. I need to know if I want you to be my client. You need to know if you want me to be your advisor. And then from that initial conversation, we meet again, and then we make recommendation. We show you quotations and see how comfortable you are. And we tailor it to your needs and to your comfort level. And insurance grows with you. So how do you eat an elephant? Well, I don't, but if I should, it would be piece by piece. So it's supposed to grow with you. So whatever you didn't address now at a young age, you can address later, because if you're at an establishment, I don't believe that you'll be at A level forever. You will, with appraisal, you will eventually increase your potential, your earning potential. So with that, we can address other needs that you may have.
With so many options for insurance, what's one of the primary recommendations?
Well, again, it's based on your needs. And I can say from experience that, especially when talking to young persons, they always want to know, okay, so what can I get back? Yeah. So I find that some of the products that they will more be comfortable with are products that have a give back or a cash value attached to it.
There are products like that?
Yes, we do.
What's one option?
The endowment is a popular product that we sell, the endowment. So
what is that?
Yeah, it's a life insurance, but it also has like a saving aspect, right? In all that we do is protection, so it will always be tied to life insurance, but it's also geared towards giving you that life insurance at retirement, because retirement is a three-legged stool. And it involves your pension, whether it's from a company sponsored or sponsored by yourself, Social Security, and your savings. So if we're paying into social, and we had the webinar that showed you the grid to see what to expect. So you know, okay, well, when I reach this age, I can expect at least $1,200 from social, but the Council of Agents said that we need about $2,400 to live comfortable. So where will I get the shortfall
due to
from?
Inflation,
so due to, and it may be more by the time we get there. Retire, So then what else would be able to address that shortfall? Is my company giving me any pension? Am I doing anything towards to have a plan that will give me monies for later? Or is it that I have to rely on my children to be my retirement plan?
And that you cannot really do. You can't really rely on the children. You just have to have the hope and believe that they may help.
Yes.
You got no guarantee that they will help.
Yeah, because they may need help still at that point.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what's the membership of Belize currently?
We have about 45 members.
45 members.
45 members.
Okay, from across the various agencies.
Yes, Sagicor, RF&G, Atlantic, and Diversified Life Solution. Yes.
All right. Well, for our viewers that may be interested in getting insurance, what do they need to do? Do they need to go to the health fair? Maybe would you suggest that to be the first start?
So yes, we would want to invite the general public to attend the health fair this Friday, and we're also having a health walk. Yes.
Which will be that will be held on Saturday, the 28th of October at 6 in the morning, and we'll be walking from BTL Park to the Lighthouse and back.
All right.
Yes.
So you can get in your early morning exercise.
Yeah.
So the proceed registration is $2, and the proceed, it's small and you can donate more, but the proceeds will be used to sponsor underprivileged high school students, and we may pay a year's tuition for them. So in all that we do, we try to give back.
Yeah, the social responsibility.
Yes, that's right. And then on October 31st, you will find us in red, not orange and black, because it's the Day of Common Concern. So we have sister association, the other IFAs. Jamaica would be called JIFA, Barbados would be called BIFA, and we have Trinidad TIFA. So we'll all unite on that day. We're in red to spread the awareness surrounding kidney disease. And then on that day, we will do the handover of pledges or any donation that we have raised in order to combat the kidney disease. So yes.
Yeah, like for your answer, how they can maybe look into insurance, they can just contact our companies, or if they know us personally, then they can get our numbers, and then we call us and we can have that meeting. And the meeting is free. Information is free.
Yes.
What is what they do with the information after that.
Yeah.
But just going back real quick to when we do the fact finding, is that what the fact find does, it helps the persons to know what their budget was. Because some persons are not budgeting any at all. So but when we go through the fact finding, they realize that, hey, I didn't realize I was spending this on this, or I was spending so much on this. And then that gives them an idea, okay, I need to make some adjustments. So it really helps them. Even if they decide, well, I don't want to go in the insurance, they still get some financial advice that actually helps them in moving forward. Correct, for free.
For free, yes.
Yeah. For free.
You can't beat that. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any last words that you'd like to share to our viewers?
Go ahead.
Well, we like you said, we have a fair. We have the fair coming up on Friday, so we're inviting them to come at that. It's free health checks that they will be getting. They'll be getting free financial advice as well.
Right.
And we're open. They can call us anytime.
We also we want to thank Bowen & Bowen for donating the tent for Friday. And if anybody else would like to make any donation to help us take off this venture, then we'll be open to that. You can call us at Sagicor RF&G. Reach out to any members and we'll appreciate the help. Yes.
All right. Excellent. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the
Thank you for having
information.
us.
And we look forward to seeing, who all comes out to the fair as well.
Thank you guys for having us.
All right, we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we wrap things up.
Every project has to start somewhere, and Brothers Habet's got you covered. We're the place for professionals because we understand success is built on quality and reliability. For the do-it-yourselfers seeking quality tools and materials to bring their out-of-the-box ideas to life, our paint department offers a kaleidoscope of hues to those looking to express their unique style. And for those seeking the perfect touch of elegance for their homes, we offer a curated collection of household fixtures and furnishings that caters to every taste. But what sets Brothers Habet apart is our exceptional customer service. Our employees go above and beyond to ensure that every customer's needs are met. We're here to see you through your building journey. Visit Brothers Habet and get started today. Or call or WhatsApp us for a quote. See you soon.
Get ready, babe. We're going on a vacation.
Finally, where are we going?
Don't worry, babe. I have we covered.
Are you sure you know where we're going?
Yes, babe. Oh, right there, see? Babe, the price was too good to be true. Me look much more better in that picture.
When life throws you a curveball, Belize Bank has your back. With our online financing, you can turn any vacation mishap into a dream getaway.
Cheers to Belize Bank for making our dream vacation a reality.
Thanks to you, babes, to turn things around.
No thanks to you, cheapo.
Ouch.
Experience the future of financing with Belize Bank online, where you can secure funds for anything, from anywhere, at any time, all without stepping foot in a bank. Apply for a loan today and unlock a world of possibilities.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Welcome back, and thanks for sticking with us on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Paul, we had 3 great conversations. I thoroughly enjoyed each and every one of them. Of course, we started things off with the folks talking to us about their upcoming Belize Social Protection Summit, a conversation that they've been having as far back as last week. But we will be expecting some more information on that. I'm sure it might even make it to our newscast as well.
Yeah, then we had our colleagues from Barbados and Caribbean colleagues from the Healthy Caribbean Coalition, and they're doing some wonderful things in terms of preventing childhood obesity in the Caribbean. So it was great to have them join us via Zoom.
And lastly, it was all about Insurance Awareness Month. Have you had insurance, or are you interested in getting insurance? What I really appreciated out of that conversation, Paul, was the opportunity to have financial advising, even if you don't actually purchase insurance. Of course, that's not to say that there's not an importance to have insurance. So they're having an upcoming fair that you can get information on this Friday. So I definitely invite you guys to check that out. But we have our eye opener this morning, Paul. And of course, our eye opener is taken from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. Every thought we think and every action we take has an impact on the world around us. Every thought we think and every action we take has an impact on the world around us. To be aware of this is to be conscious of our impact on the people in our lives. Sometimes we just want to do what we want to do, but considering full ramifications of our actions can be an important part of our spiritual growth and awareness. At first, being more conscious requires effort, but once we have made it a habit, it becomes second nature. The more we practice this awareness of others, the more we find ourselves in easy alignment with our integrity. Our thoughts are an important place to begin this practice because our thoughts are the seeds of our actions. It is not necessary or beneficial to obsessively monitor all our thoughts, but we can perhaps choose one thought or action per day and simply notice if we are in alignment with this experience of integrity. With regard to our actions, we may have something difficult to express to someone. Taking the time to consider how we would feel if we were in his or her shoes will enable us to communicate more sensitively than we would if we just express ourselves with our own perspective. When we modify our approach by taking someone else's feelings into account, we bring benefit to that person and ourselves equally. The more we do this, the more we reaffirm our integrity and the integrity of our relationship with the world. Lovely. I love this eye-opener. It's beautiful. I think it speaks to the importance of remembering that your words or that your actions have impact, not only on yourselves, but on others around you as well. And oftentimes we kind of lead with, I will do what's important for me, or I will do what's important for me.
I've been reading this book by Andy Stanley, one of my personal favorite authors. The book is entitled Better Decisions, Fewer Regrets, and the book actually opens like this, reminding or having viewers understand that our decisions ultimately impact those around us, even private decisions. In fact, private decisions impact those closest to us. And then you have public decisions that impact those closest to us, but also a wider audience. And so the book speaks to something similar as well. The author seeks to help readers have make better decisions with fewer regrets by asking themselves 5 questions. And one of the first question is the integrity question. Am I being honest with myself? Really? And then the second question, which is I'll stop here, is the legacy question. What story do I want to be told or leave behind? And that has a lot to do with the decisions we make,
the actions you made,
because that will impact the people around us, and ultimately that's the story that will be told. That's ultimately the legacy that will be left. So it's important for us to definitely be conscious that our decisions, whether in private or public, impacts people around us, and it's not all about do what you want to do or just, oh, I just want to live the life I want to live. Imagine we all did that, how we would come dressed on set or at work or whatever, because like, you know what, I just want to do what I want to. That would impact our viewers, that would impact our producer even.
Yeah, certainly. I love that. I hope that you, our viewers, were able to get something from this eye-opener that could be beneficial to you. But Paul, we have a birthday shout out this morning, and we want to say happy birthday to Christy Powell from her family and friends, and also from us here at Open Your Eyes. We want to say happy birthday to you, and we hope that you have a fantastic day today. Paul, it's absolutely great when you're able to celebrate your birthday on a cooler day.
Right.
So Christy could come out in her fancy clothes, and she could wear long sleeve if you want. And you don't have to sweat to that, Christy. So happy birthday to you. But for anyone else that's celebrating a birthday, happy birthday to you too. And if you'd like to give a birthday shout out, you can send us an email at openyoureyes@channel5bz at channel5belize.com. And if you'd like to check us out on Facebook, you can do so at Open Your Eyes BZ, as well as Instagram for behind the scenes content at OYE Belize. But thank you so much for joining us, and please join us again tomorrow as you open your eyes
and start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your heart.
Have a great Tuesday.
Peace.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your